如何让学生自然而然开口说英文，是身为英文老师的我们常常在思考的这个问题。接下来我们听听看 Teacher Bryce 是怎么。Let's welcome Teacher Bryce.
Now, a program designed to help elementary students become better readers.
All right. Yeah, do you have the PowerPoint? So I know that some Taiwanese teachers are going to the United States in next month or whatever. It's going to cost you like 70,000 Taiwan dollars to hang out with the magistrate for like 2 days or a week or whatever. So yeah, I mean, who wouldn't enjoy it? But for those of you who can't go or choose not to, I thought, okay, well, I was watching the news. I watch PBS sometimes. And like, this story is about teachers in the U.S. who are new teachers who are having some struggles teaching reading, and they feel like they're not prepared to do it. So the story is about one thing, but the angle I wanted us to take on it is just take a look at what's happening inside of a classroom in the United States. And some things to look for while we're watching the video. So you can go ahead, Ray. No, with the PowerPoint. That's okay. Sweet. Classroom snapshot. So this is just a few pictures of a few classrooms in the United States. Go ahead, Ray. One more. So how are the students seated and grouped? Is it working? This is one thing I learned pretty quickly in Taiwan, is that the way that students interact physically in the classroom is very different than the way students physically interact in the classroom in the United States. And I'm going to let you talk about that. I'm not going to tell you what I've noticed. So, next one. And are the students active and engaged? How, if they are, and if they're not, why not? Next one. What is the physical environment like? Posters, teaching aids, technology, desks, how the desks are arranged, so on and so forth. And what is the rapport relationship like between the teachers and the students? What do you see? What is the voice tone that the teacher is using? What kind of words are they using? So things to watch for as we watch the video. And let's watch it.
By retraining their teachers. Special correspondent John Talenko from Learning Matters has our report.
Loud and proud. Right, so you can say your sound. How many sounds are in this word, boys and girls? Let's count. Rat. There's 4 sounds in that word, right?
Just 4 sounds. Simple enough for these beginning readers at Matances Elementary in Hartford, Connecticut. But watch what happens when literacy expert Dr. Linda Braunstein switches the letters R and A in the word rat.
And let's see how many sounds are in there now, everybody. Let's see how many sounds. Art. Look at that. What happened? Now we have only 3 sounds. You can't say "at" anymore because now your sound is R. This R is bossing you and making a new sound, which is R.
When the letter R comes after a vowel, it changes the vowel sound. Braunstein calls this the bossy R. And that's just one of the many rules early readers need to remember. There's also
vowel teams. You need to know, like, if you see 2 vowels together, the first one does the talking.
Digraphs. So like S and H says shh.
ER says like ladder.
Which also almost sounds like the IR in bird.
If it's a consonant, vowel, consonant, you sandwich the vowel and it's then closed and it's going to make a short sound. So for cat,
cat. But cake says egg, ache.
See how complex it is? There's a lot to teaching reading. Book, art.
In the United States, learning to read is a major challenge. National tests showed 2/3 of all 4th graders score below proficient. There are many reasons why, but one in particular becomes a surprise.
Possession.
When you were in education school, how much training did you get in teaching children to read?
Very little, very little.
Like many teachers nationwide, Jacqueline Nardi started her career in the classroom unprepared for the complexity of teaching children to read.
A lot of college, I feel like, was lesson planning. It was a lot of the paperwork side of it, not as much as the hands-on teacher experience.
She was weakest in teaching one essential reading skill, decoding.
Phonics was my issue. In college, we did a lot of, let's read together and talk about what we read, but it wasn't really breaking down parts of a word. So I didn't really have the skills how to get them from point A to point B. I was never taught anything like that in college.
A recent examination of coursework at hundreds of colleges of education found 60% give just passing attention to decoding, memorizing common words by sight, and other skills critical to reading. Critics question the methodology, but concede that training needs to improve.
Hi, boys and girls.
To address that, in 2010, Hartford turned Betances into a model school where teachers learn to teach reading.
And curly as you are.
A key component is an approach similar to the residencies used to train doctors. Most new hires at Betances begin as associate teachers and come straight out of college.
Coming here, I learned more strategies and actually hands-on things I can do with the students.
Associate teachers like Faith Koreska are paid a standard salary and work the same hours as regular teachers. However, instead of being thrown into a classroom to fend for themselves, here they spend a year or more co-teaching with experienced instructors.
You really need to come in each day and, have conversations with your colleagues, and really learn the job so you're ready for your own classroom. And I think for me, it was very beneficial because now I have all this knowledge and I can use it.
The other key element to the Betances model is a strong mentor. Dr. Linda Bronstein's full-time job is to improve reading instruction at the school.
I'm in and out of classrooms all day. I do modeling where I'm responsible for the lesson. Coaching is where the teacher's doing the lesson and I might jump in and give some tips, some tricks on the
Even when she's not in the classroom, Bronstein is watching.
We have 2 cameras in every room. I can watch instruction from all.
Teachers receive instant feedback over the phone,
Hi.
by cooking, or in person.
I'm known to be a person who has to correct something right away. And the teachers, I don't think they've gotten used to it.
Any minute, Dr. Bronstein could be watching you or just walk into your classroom and observe, so you're always on your A game. But I'm glad that we have, as much as I dislike the cameras, that we have them here because you're always getting feedback from Dr. Bronstein and from each other.
Teachers at Betances work on lessons together at least once a week,
Fabulous.
often reviewing videos of themselves and their colleagues.
What's it like to have a camera recording your every movement?
I mean, I do get a little nervous every time they turn on, but I know that it is the best way to quickly improve, to watch yourself on video and see what you're doing effectively and what you need to improve on. So at the very beginning,
After 2 years learning this way, associate teachers will be reassigned to other schools.
you got it.
Hartford spent $400,000 to create the model at Betances in hopes of substantially growing the number of reading experts district-wide.
The bottom line is teacher quality is important, but you have to put your money behind it.
It seems to be paying off. In its second year, 87% of third graders achieved proficiency on the state reading test. That's more than double the year before. But is it too good to be true? Over the summer, the state began an investigation into what it called potential irregularities in the school's test scores. State officials aren't saying what that means. On our visit, made prior to the investigation, we brought up the possibility of cheating.
Some people might say a jump from 42% to 87%. That looks suspect.
I know. Well,
but I know what we did. I know what we did. We worked intensively. We did small group instruction with those children. We taught them the strategies they needed, and it worked.
Bronstein insists the scores are accurate. Further evidence the approach works comes from countries like Finland and Singapore that use similar methods of training teachers and whose students outperform their counterparts here in the United States.
Alright. Cool, if we could bring the PowerPoint back up. Okay, so I hope you were all thinking about the questions I posed while you were watching the video. Okay, we can start with that one.
Became the latest state to take a big step toward.
That's okay. Yeah, it starts to get automatic. Alright. So the rapport relationship between teachers and students. Did we notice anything that we want to talk about? Or did we see anyone getting beat with a ruler in this video? Maybe.
It actually shows students with good behavior.
Yeah, of course, because it's on, you know, the
news
is
filming it, right?
Yeah.
So the kids are acting, in a good way. So.
Yeah.
Still acting antsy. The one guy with the D and the other said.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what strategy to get involved.
What did you guys feel looking at the cameras in the classroom? How did you guys feel when you saw that? Like, how would you feel if the county said, we're going to put cameras in the classroom to watch you teach?
The first thing that I react is like, I don't feel comfortable with that. That's the first thing. But it might, kind of like my close friend, if he or she want to watch it, how I teach, I'll say, okay, welcome to come in. And then after the class, and then we talk about, hey, what do you think about my teaching? And what do you think about how can I improve, or what did I do best? That's what we talk about as a friend. And then we could feel comfortable with that, but with the camera, no, not probably. Especially for the principal. If that principal come out and they turn on the video, it's like, oh my gosh.
Peggy and I actually came from a school that tried to utilize. Peggy and I actually came from a school that attempted to utilize cameras. And it was supposed to be for the purpose of improving instruction. But I never received any feedback. Peggy, did you?
They installed them with the idea that it was to improve instruction.
They always use that.
But that wasn't what
Right.
they did it for. They basically did it to keep an eye on teachers to make sure they weren't stealing anything or doing anything wrong. Students could be on tape. We caught 2 students twice stealing from a teacher's purse, and nothing happened to the students. But the teacher got yelled at about keeping her purse out. Well, we didn't have any place to lock it up, so we're leave it in your car then.
But if, like in the States, like I'm wondering, like the camera and the videotape, do they have to have parental permission?
I mean, with minor children in the classroom, is there some sort of parental form that the school had to sign that it's okay for these kids to be on camera and then be viewed nationwide?
It could be a condition that if they're attending the school, that's just part of the registration.
That's what I was wondering, because normally in the United States, you can't have children, being videotaped unless they sign.
How about in Taiwan?
In Taiwan, in the kindergarten, you will see this is happening in our kindergarten. That your parents, they can monitor all the movement of the teacher, the interaction of their children and the teachers in the kindergarten, and they can report everything. This is actually happening in Taiwan, and they think it's high tech. But because now we are in the elementary school, higher school education, we focus more on our human rights. we focus more on people's personal privacy. But when parents, they think their children in the kindergarten, they don't need to have human rights. And this happened in Taiwan. But as teachers, I think if we are in higher level, we need to consider about this. And maybe when some monitor or something monitoring on me, I will act better. I will teach better. I will ask my children to behave better.
But the relationship between the teachers.
I know there are some cities or county they are having like a program like a walk through classroom observation. Like in Taipei, they are implemented this kind of program through the whole city, including elementary school, junior high school, and I don't know if they do it in senior high school, but I know all the elementary school, they all do this kind of observation to improve teachers' skills and strategies. I think I prefer walking observation instead of the camera shooting. Yeah, I think it's better. Your teacher or your principal give you opinions when they work in the classroom and give you some suggestion, and that would be.
We should flip-flop. So you know what? I agree with you, and we want to make sure your administrative duties are always performing at optimum level. So give us a camera at our home while you're in your office, and it's like they're gonna freak out too.
Yeah,
Or does the principal have the Board of Education could say we want every principal to have office to have a camera, and if the principals wouldn't go for it, you know, we want the Board of Education to have cameras, so the people. It's very hypocritical.
In the United States, they'll have secret meetings to determine the direction of the school. So they'll have secret meetings. No, the school board in Muskegon Heights had secret meetings to determine things for the whole entire district. They didn't tell people, they didn't announce it until the decision was already made, but they would never stand up in front and want all that stuff projected or monitored. So, I don't know about Taiwan, but I know in the US, no, if you're higher up, no, don't be watching me in my office. Pick my nose, pick my butt.
Yeah, I don't know. It definitely brings up legal ramifications, because I know, I worked in special ed, and sometimes a kid will be like, well, this assistant, abused me or whatever. Well, if there's a camera in the room, you can see it's not true. It's a protection for the teacher as well. Yeah, it's like a pilot program. Yeah. Okay, let's go up a little bit. Let's see the words too. Active, engaged. Like Thomas said, they know, the kids know the cameras are there, so whatever.
If you stay in a way where the students would know that the cameras are there, I guarantee you, maybe I'm wrong, but I think the behaviors would be entirely different. And depending on the school you're at, like where I was at, last year, Muskegon Heights, if the kids didn't think the cameras were working or they weren't on, their behaviors were entirely different. If they thought they were going to get in trouble and somebody was going to see this, it would be entirely different.
Yeah, it's like the traffic cameras in Taiwan. Everyone knows they're not working, so you can run a red light. Oh, okay. All right. Then let's just go to the physical environment, and we'll finish with that. Down. Yeah. Down. Down. All right. Physical environment. Like, I haven't taught in the U.S. for a couple of years, but I just like ADHD just kicks in just looking at like the walls. It's just like, wow. And I've had principals tell me, research says that when all this stuff is on the wall, the kids start to soak it in and stuff. And I guess, someone else knows better than me whether or not that is true. But
it's the visual.
Yeah.
They want. I was kind of taught that yes, they do want some things on the walls. I know at the two schools I was at, in America, you know, they actually have a requirement, like you have to have student work, you have to have X amount of percentage of your walls covered. However, you cannot have too much, because then when you do have the students that have maybe attention deficit disorder, that will literally distract them from the lesson. So you can't have too much. It's like this happy balance, but they don't want to see bare walls. And I did notice that in those rooms there was a lot of posters reinforcing the lessons, student work. I mean, it did look nice, but I did wonder too, is it a distraction for the students if it's too much? But you won't know. Yeah.
I had a couple of different experiences with a couple of different colleagues. The special ed teacher, I worked for a number of years with at-risk struggling students, and the special ed teachers was of the opinion that you only put very little on the walls. The most engaging thing should be what's in front of them, what they're learning. And then for junior high, when I moved back into the regular ed classroom, we had things on the walls, but it wasn't this pretty. It was more reading strategy posters that the kids had come up with. So if they were doing something, they could look up, and there's the reading strategy. Oh, I need to do this as a reminder. So it wasn't necessarily lots of really pretty things going on. It was practical.
Yeah.
Form follows function, basically.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I just want to make a comment about something. Did anybody notice when they were teaching the students, where were the students sitting?
On the floor, or at a small table.
Yeah, that is one thing I've seen lacking in every single school I've been to in Taiwan. Is there's always neat rows of desks everywhere. Students are seated in their desk, and that's their desk. But I found like for many students, I think they love to be, for the chance to be outside of their desk. For one, they're actually more motivated when you move them out of that environment and put them somewhere new. Like when I was a student, I know I've always been very, very interested in just sitting on the floor. I will always put like I call a reading corner in my classroom. Put a rug, a very comfortable rug. Make it very homey and very cozy. And the students always look forward to going to that corner, and they focus even much better than when they were at the desk. So I feel like that when students are in the classroom, you want them to be comfortable, loosen up and be comfortable to learn. You don't want them to go into a classroom intimidated. So you want them to loosen up and relax and open up their minds to learn.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Yes, you have a question? Well, we're out of time. So what's your question? No, I'm getting the look, so that's I am getting the look. All right, and all right, cool. Yeah, a little snapshot of a classrooms in different countries. So if you can't go with the magistrate,